Hi, I'm Brent from Portland Nursery, and today we're going to talk about houseplants for that very high light area of your home. And I'm talking about south-facing windows, west-facing windows, those windows that get direct sun for hours a day. This is an environment where a lot of plants, a lot of houseplants are going to bake in that sun. They're not going to tolerate it well, but there are some options here that are going to be true champs. They're going to take that and they're going to thrive. So let's start today with the Sago Palm. This is a beautiful and unique addition to your home. Really stunning foliage. It is important to note that it is a very slow grower, and you should probably start with one that's already at a size that you appreciate, just knowing that it can take several years to get to this particular size. It's also a houseplant that is particularly toxic to dogs and cats, so keep your furry friends away. And know that it's really easygoing as far as watering. It's one you're going to let dry out. You're going to water really deeply. You're going to rinse and repeat that whole process. Really going to thrive and shine in that south-facing window. And you can't really talk about highlight without talking about cactus. Now, there are many, many different options available here at the nursery. This is just one of my particular favorite. This is the Peruvian apple cactus. When it reaches a maturity of several years, it's going to have the potential to produce these really vibrant red fruits. I have not yet had the pleasure of eating one. I am told they're delicious, but don't take my word for it, and definitely do your research if you get fruits before you eat them. But it is really easygoing. It can really dry out. Keep in mind, if you have this in your home, that you're going to pretty much not be watering it all winter. And in summer, you may be watering it every 2 or 3 weeks. But really, really mild care, really easygoing, and a really fun look. I really enjoy the kind of bluish tint here to this one. And moving on here, we're going to talk about the Croton. This is just a showstopper. I mean, we have really, really, really vibrant foliage, reds, yellows, oranges, and that is actually all enhanced by sun. It's sun stress that actually brings out these vibrant colors, so give it as much light as you possibly can, and it's going to put on quite a display for you. One thing to know about this is it is a little particular about watering. You never want to let it dry out for days on end. You're going to want to thoroughly moisten the soil, let it get to that almost completely dry point, and then water again. That's going to be the magic to keep this one happy. Know that in the summer, height of summer, you may be watering this every 2 or 3 days. So it's one to keep on top of as far as watering, but you really, really can't beat the quality of that foliage. And now we can talk about the Norfolk Pine. This is a really fun addition to your home. Has really elegant and whimsy characteristics, a really interesting combination. I like to call it the Charlie Brown Christmas tree personally, and affectionately that's what I like to call it, but very easygoing for care. A nice contrast to the typical tropical heavy foliage that we see. It looks like something you might find in the forest, honestly, and I really appreciate that, bringing the indoors to your home in a different way than you might otherwise see. And let's talk about the white bird of paradise. Now, when you go to buy your white bird of paradise, know that there are 2 varieties commonly available. This is the white bird of paradise. There's also the orange bird of paradise. They're very different in their foliage. The white bird of paradise has very, very lush, large, banana-like foliage that this plant can get huge in time and really, really add a jungle feeling to your room. Whereas the orange stays more compact, has more triangular foliage. Also a lovely plant, but a very different look. Do note that you're not buying this plant for the prospect of its beautiful flowers. They're unlikely to flower in our homes, but this is a great, great plant for its foliage alone. Really, really a great addition to that bright area of your house. And then we also have to talk here about the fiddle leaf fig and the Ficus Elastica. So these are both ficus, very similar care. This is just a really beautiful plant. We see it in a lot of homes. It really draws our attention. It is a little bit tricky to care for, especially initially when bringing it into your home. You can have trouble acclimating to change. Once you get its care down, it's going to be really easygoing, but it is something that can absolutely handle that southern exposure and that direct light without giving you much problems. Definitely talk to us about the care if you decide to pick up this plant so we can make sure you're off on the right foot, but definitely a good option for that south-facing window. And the same with the Ficus Elastica. This is the burgundy variety. It has a really deep green with tints of red in it. Very similar care, very different looks. So two very good options from the Ficus options. And then last but not least, let's talk about the Yucca. The Yucca is a nearly indestructible plant. It will do so well with the absolute most sun you can give it, and it will not give any problems. In addition, it's one that you can forget to water for weeks, if not months on end, and it's not going to really care that much. So really, really hardy, and just really something you can't go wrong with if you are a person who wants that plant that's going to thrive in that south-facing window, but also not have to worry about watering it nearly as much or other particular care needs. A really great addition to a bright area. So those are some of the very best options that you can count on to be super tolerant and thriving in that south-facing window. Of course, there are others, and we will be happy to show you more options here at Portland Nursery. We hope to see you soon.